Good evening. Welcome to California Today. I'm Liang Zhang. Here's a preview of some of today's stories. Gas prices continue to climb to new records, so some Americans are now cutting back on driving to save on gas. We'll hear what they have to say. Police have identified more thieves responsible for the string of smash and grab robberies earlier this year. Many of the suspects are teenagers. And another robber known as the Green Gaiter Bandit has been sentenced to 4 years in prison. He is responsible for a series of bank robberies in Southern California. The average price Americans pay for gasoline is now hovering around $5 per gallon. With prices soaring on almost all fronts, it's becoming yet another drain on consumers' wallets. Here's more.
Average gas prices in the U.S. this week are closing in on $5 per gallon, hitting an alarming all-time high.
Well, gas prices for the first time ever, the national average has hit the $5 a gallon mark. A very furious increase from where we were just a couple of months ago when the national average hit $4. So we surpassed that.
According to the American Automobile Association, the average price was $4.97 per gallon Thursday, up a quarter in just the last week and nearly $2 more than a year ago. The highest rate is in California at $6.40 per gallon. Georgia has the lowest at $4.41. The spike is forcing car owners to drive less.
A lot of other things I can't do because I have to pay for gas. You know what I'm saying? Less food, less playtime. You know what I'm saying? Because I got to put gas. I got to go to work, right?
Yeah, we don't want to go too far. Like, we don't want to use the car too much because it's pointless to be wasting gas right now.
The spike in pump prices is coupled with continued inflation. U.S. consumer prices in April were 8.3% higher than a year ago. That was only slightly better than in March, when inflation hit its highest since 1981.
Well, I usually put full tank, probably like $60. Now it's like $100. It depends where I go, but yeah.
Americans aren't the only ones paying more for gas. This week, gasoline prices in the U.K. also hit a record, reaching about $8.80 per gallon. Analysts say prices will keep rising until they're high enough that demand drops.
And so it's just a matter of falling supply and rising demand. And that's pushed up the national average significantly. And it looks like we continue to see supplies decline.
Gas price spikes have been helped along by refinery shutdowns. They were caused both by the pandemic and unexpected disasters, like a hurricane along the Gulf Coast of Texas and Louisiana.
The San Francisco Police Department made multiple arrests related to a violent retail crime series that happened in the spring. All the suspects arrested are teenage juveniles, and the investigation is still ongoing. NTD's Jason Blair brings us the details.
In San Francisco, multiple juveniles were arrested for an organized smash-and-grab crime spree that involved 10 different incidents, all happening within 3 weeks. 3 of the suspects, aged 14, 15, and 16, are believed to be involved in all 10 of the thefts, which happened between March 18th and April 10th. All of the crimes happened in San Francisco, with some locations being hit more than once. Investigators say at least $21,000 worth of merchandise was stolen, and the suspects are facing multiple charges, including burglary, conspiracy, grand theft, organized retail theft, and assault and battery. Some of the suspects remain at large, and the cases are still active. Jason Blair, NTD News, San Francisco.
A man responsible for a series of robberies in Southern California has been sentenced to 4 years in prison. He's known as the Green Gaiter Bandit.
55-year-old Christopher Paul Daniels of Torrance was sentenced on Wednesday to 3 years and 10 months in federal prison. He admitted to robbing 3 banks in Orange County. The robberies date back to October 2021. Daniels was arrested in March. During the court hearing in April, he pleaded guilty to robbing a U.S. bank, a Chase Bank, and a Bank of the West. Authorities said Daniels was charged as a suspect in at least 8 other robberies. The FBI called him the Green Gaiter Bandit because of the green camouflage gator face and neck covering he wore in some bank surveillance photos. He has also worn gaiters or a mask in other colors or designs during robberies.
Tesla accused the California Civil Rights Agency of rushing to sue businesses without conducting proper investigations. The electric car maker is facing claims of widespread racial bias at an assembly plant. Let's take a look at the details.
Tesla asked California's Office of Administrative Law on Tuesday to pause a lawsuit claiming the company has a racially segregated workplace. The Department of Fair Employment and Housing, or DFEH, filed the lawsuit against Tesla back in February. The lawsuit alleges black workers are harassed and discriminated against in terms of job assignments, discipline, and pay at Tesla's flagship Fremont plant. In a 10-page complaint filed Tuesday, Tesla said, "The alleged misconduct is both widespread and not unique to the case against the car maker." Tesla also claimed the DFEH violated state law by suing Tesla without first notifying the company of all of the claims or giving a chance to settle outside of court. But the department said in a court filing last month, state law does not impose strict requirements on the agency prior to suing employers. They added that its probe was thorough and complied with state law. Tesla has denied wrongdoing and said that the lawsuit was politically motivated. The lawsuit is one of several pending in California courts that accuse Tesla of tolerating discrimination and harassment at its factories. A California state judge on Tuesday said he would likely deny Tesla's motion to pause the lawsuit. A hearing is scheduled for Wednesday.
San Jose police recovered over 60 firearms from a homicide suspect. The suspect has a criminal record and is already in jail.
On Friday morning, the San Jose Police Department announced they seized over 60 firearms from 38-year-old Vu Tai, a homicide suspect. In May, officers responded to a firearm brandishing incident. According to the police, the suspect displayed a firearm in a threatening manner at a victim during a road rage incident. The suspect fled and was not identified at the time. After some investigating, authorities identified Tai, arrested him, and obtained a search warrant. They searched his residence on June 8th and found over 65 firearms. About 25 of them were illegal assault weapons, at least 2 were privately made, and 2 were stolen. Detectives also collected multiple high-capacity magazines and thousands of rounds of ammunition. Tai was previously arrested as a suspect in the city's 13th homicide this year. He also faces several more illegal firearm charges. He is being held at the Santa Clara County Main Jail.
The state is in the third year of drought. Water officials are announcing more cutbacks in the heart of California's agricultural region. Let's see how it's affecting farmers in the area.
Earlier this week, the State Water Resources Control Board announced more cutbacks to the Sacramento-San Joaquin Delta watershed. Beginning June 8th, cities, agricultural workers, and growers are restricted from pumping water from the rivers and streams in the Delta. The conservation efforts affect over 400 public water systems and 4,000 water rights for farmers. Farmers, already affected by several other state-imposed conservation efforts, will have to find other sources of water. California Water for Food and People Movement said in a statement, "Without that surface supply to rely on during California's historically normal periods of back-to-back dry years, replacement groundwater becomes the only alternative for cities and farmers to survive." But not all are on board with mandatory conservation efforts. Steve Sheldon, president of the Orange County Water District, previously told the Epoch Times that this will lead to high prices. He said mandatory conservation will also reduce water sales to water agencies and would require increasing water rates to recover the same amount of revenue needed to operate a water agency. In response to the water cuts, the State Water Resources Control Board approved an agreement earlier this week. It will allow water holders to utilize the Upper Russian River watershed to voluntarily reduce water use and share their available water.
We're going to take a short break, but here's a look at what we got for you when we come back. Here is some spicy and not so sweet news for Sriracha lovers. The hot sauce is in short supply, and the cause? Weather conditions. 3D printing is not just for prototypes anymore, now it's going to be used in the real world. It's a courtroom on wheels. One county is deploying a mobile courtroom to offer court appearances for locals. That and more on California Today. Bottles of the popular Sriracha hot sauce could be hard to find on store shelves this summer. The hot sauce company says weather conditions are affecting its key ingredients, pepper crops. Here's more on the story.
Southern California-based Huifeng told customers in an email earlier this year that it would pause sales of its famous Sriracha spicy sauce due to a shortage of chili peppers. The company said in an email that all orders submitted after April 19th would be fulfilled after Labor Day and would not accept any new orders this summer. It said that weather conditions are affecting the quality of the peppers and deepening the chili pepper shortage. The company said in a statement, "Unfortunately, we can confirm that there is an unprecedented shortage of our products. We are still endeavoring to resolve this issue that has been caused by several spiraling events, including unexpected crop failure from the spring chili harvest." The company sources its peppers from various farms in California, New Mexico, and Mexico. The halt in production applies to Huifeng's signature Sriracha hot chili sauce, as well as its chili garlic and sambal oelek products.
In a case regarding healthcare fraud, authorities reached an agreement with a doctor to pay millions of dollars for fraudulent billing. The schemes included services such as x-rays, ultrasounds, and routine medical injections. The doctor pleaded guilty.
On Friday, the Justice Department announced that Los Angeles doctor Minis Kochumian has agreed to pay nearly $9.5 million to settle healthcare fraud charges. According to the DOJ, Kochumian is an internal medicine practitioner who owned and operated a medical clinic in Los Angeles County. From November 2011 to April 2018, he allegedly submitted false claims to Medicare and Medi-Cal for procedures and tests that were never conducted to patients. As part of the agreement, the doctor admitted that he intentionally submitted claims with the intent to deceive the United States and California. The lawsuit was brought forth in 2017 when two former employees filed a key TAM lawsuit against the doctor. This form of lawsuit allows them to get a share of the settlement. The DOJ said the whistleblowers will receive more than $1.75 million as their share.
While it's graduation season, some of the fun that people have may lead to both inconvenient and potentially destructive consequence. The culprit is balloons. More specifically, metallic balloons getting caught in power lines. Here's a look at what happens.
Metallic balloons are increasingly disrupting power lines. In the past, May and June have made up almost a third of foil balloon-related outages each year. These months also happen to coincide with graduations. 1.6 million customers of power supplier Southern California Edison were affected in 2021 alone and lost over 480 hours of power. In one incident in July 2017, a metallic balloon made contact with an electrical pole. The collision caused a power outage that affected 3,000 homes and businesses. Edison spokesman Reggie Kumar said the damage was extensive and the company could not restore power until the evening. But it's not just power outages, the balloons can actually damage power lines to the point of causing them to collapse off the poles. Downed power lines can cause serious injury or death and cause property damage. Power outages alone can cause thousands of dollars to repair. To avoid outages and fire hazards, a few Southern California cities have banned the sale of metallic balloons. Edison advises anyone who sees a tangled balloon to call 911 and not to interfere with it.
You may have heard of 3D printing being used to model prototypes like cars and buildings. But new advancements in the tech sector are leading to 3D printing actual car parts. NTD's David Lam reports how it can change the automobile manufacturing process.
Nearly 400 new electrical vehicle models are to be launched in the next 8 years. The supply will need to keep up. That's where additive manufacturing, also known as 3D printing, comes in. In a 3D printing webinar on Thursday, experts explained the new production capacity of additive manufacturing.
Typically what we say is anything that's about the size of your fist or smaller. and in volumes of 3,000 to 5,000 will work.
DeLong says the quantity can increase as the size of the parts gets smaller and as technology improves.
Additive will take over a lot of this in the next probably 10, 12 years.
He said additive manufacturing will help the industry since car sales are hindered due to shipping and parts shortages. Conventionally, many parts are made by cutting away material or injecting material such as plastic or metal into a mold to get the desired shape or texture. 3D printing, on the other hand, works by adding layers upon layers of material until the final object is completed. It has the potential to reduce cost and production time.
So if you look at an automotive interior, if you look at all the plastic parts in there, a very, very large majority are going to have some sort of texture applied to them.
There are various final touches, such as fine grain or leather grain, which Kramer says is costly from injection, but comes as a feature through 3D printing. These touches can improve the look of the final product, making it identical to standard manufacturing.
Is this 3D printed or injection molded? It's very difficult to see. My boss will come by and he'll find that part and he'll find the injection molded part that it matches. And he always has to ask me, wait, Wes, which one of these are 3D printed? Which one's injection molded? So that's really what it's all about right there.
The experts say they expect additive manufacturing to change the way parts are designed, built, and distributed. David Lamb, NTD News, California.
One county is employing what they're calling a mobile courtroom to help locals make court appearances. One individual who has been making regular appearances before a judge in a vehicle shared his views.
Northern California's Placer County Probation Department is using its mobile courtroom to offer court appearances for locals. The more properly named Outreach vehicle debuted in December. Officials say it is now serving between 50 to 75 individuals per week. One of them is 56-year-old Kevin Fisk, who is getting his life on track after spending over half of it in prison.
Every Thursday since they got it up and running, it makes it easy for us to get to instead of having to walk very far for some of the older people. And it just makes it nice because you can have your social worker there, 2 or 3 other people, team members there, and you can deal with it all at once instead of like if you were going to be in the office and you would not have that many people, you'd have to go to 4 different meetings to meet that many people.
Fisk was last released in 2020 and has to meet with probation officers every week. He resides in Auburn, but his weekly probation meetings are generally held 20 miles away in the neighboring city of Roseville.
It definitely makes them a lot easier especially with that homeless court thing you guys got going on in there. That's a big thing because a lot of people can't make it down to Roseville. And if they have homeless court and they don't go down to Roseville and check in, then they got a warrant. And so now, some of them have mental problems and don't know how to take the bus as good as others, just things, like that. And this being here makes sure they get to court.
The vehicle is equipped with computers, internet, widescreen television monitors, and a camera. Its mobility helps certain individuals avoid having warrants issued for missing court appearances.
The probation outreach vehicle is really a vehicle that we have developed to be utilized as a mobile probation office and a mobile courtroom, so we can bridge the gap with those individuals under our supervision and in our community that can't make it to court.
The vehicle also travels to the neighboring cities of Rockland and Lincoln. It additionally functions as a community court for misdemeanor level offenses, as well as offering services like Alcoholics Anonymous and Narcotics Anonymous meetings.
There's been cases that individuals were required to do certain things by the court, AA and NA and classes, and they come to this vehicle and report to the probation officer how they're doing. We report back to the court together, and their cases are dismissed. So there has been several cases that have been dismissed as a result of them showing up to this vehicle and appearing before the judge.
Hopper added that the value in the vehicle is how it allows them to positively impact others' lives.
This vehicle is important to us because the probation department is in the business of changing lives. And that is what we do. This vehicle allows us the opportunity to engage with our community in a different way and change more lives.
He added that it's too soon to know metrics for how big the impact is, but he says it's making a difference.
Now to NTD's Thomas Christian for an update on sports.
I'm Thomas Christian, giving you the California Today Sports Roundup.
There's nothing like hot dogs, lemonade, and heading to the ballpark for some June baseball. But on the field, these players know that wins and losses in the dregs of a season can decide who is winning the whole thing come October. Shohei Ohtani threw 7 strong innings and hit a 2-run homer as the Los Angeles Angels snapped a franchise record 14-game losing streak with a 5-2 victory over the Boston Red Sox on Thursday in Anaheim, California. Ohtani gave up 4 hits, walked 2, and struck out 6 from the mound, making 100 pitches as he helped end Boston's 7-game winning streak. Andrew Velasquez hit a 3-run homer in the 6th to break open the game. Boston starter Nick Pivetta had won 5 consecutive starts, but he gave up 4 runs on 6 hits and walked 2 in 5+ innings and took his first loss since May 1st. But he did strike out a season-high 11 batters. Angels 5, Red Sox 2. Andre Jimenez's RBI single sparked a 4-run uprising in the 8th, as Cleveland sent visiting Oakland to its 9th consecutive loss. The Guardians won for the 8th time in 10 games. Rookie Oscar Gonzalez went 4 for 4 to lead the Cleveland offense. Aniel De Los Santos earned the victory by pitching a scoreless 8. The A's got 3 hits, including a 2-run homer from Christian Bethancourt. Oakland reliever Lou Trevino yielded 4 runs and got just 1 out. Guardians 8, A's 4. Max Muncy homered and drove in 5 runs as visiting Los Angeles withstood a 9th-inning rally to beat Chicago in the rubber match of a 3-game interleague series. Freddie Freeman had 3 hits and 3 RBIs, while Gavin Lux went 4 for 4 with an RBI for the Dodgers, who led 11-7 before Daniel Hudson allowed 2 runs in the 9th. Starter Tyler Anderson had his 28-inning scoreless streak snapped in the 3rd inning. Anderson yielded 4 runs on 4 hits with 3 walks and 2 strikeouts over 3 innings. Jake Berger homered for the 2nd straight game for Chicago, which has lost 8 of its past 12. White Sox starter Dylan Cease cruised through the first 4 innings before running into trouble in the 5th, when Los Angeles sent 11 batters to the plate, scored 6 runs to take the lead. Dodgers 11, White Sox 9. Jonathan Deza delivered a tie-breaking RBI single in the 4th inning for Colorado, which took advantage of 4 errors to earn a victory at San Francisco. Rockies starter Austin Gomber allowed 5 hits and 1 walk while striking out 5. Charlie Blackmon finished with 3 hits, while McMahon and Garrett Hampson had 2 hits apiece. The Giants' Austin Wynns, acquired from the Philadelphia Phillies on Wednesday, went 2 for 2 in his team debut and was the lone San Francisco player with multiple hits. Rockies 4, Giants 2. That's all for sports.
That's all for tonight. You can join us again on California Today every weekday at 8:30 p.m. If you have any news tips or ideas for our show, or just want to let us know how we're doing, our email is california.today@ntd.com. I'm Liang Zhang. Have a wonderful weekend.